Okay, it should be recording now.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ann Steiber. I've been designated the hearing officer. Also here are Commissioners McKinney and Boletto in the matter of Harry Zupanidis, permittee, Mykonos Taverna, 141 Main Street, Norwalk, Connecticut, 06851, permit number LCA 8637 PCW. And we are here due to a legally filed and sufficient remonstrance. For the record, it is 1:23 p.m. This hearing was scheduled to begin at 1 o'clock. I apologize for the commission. We had another hearing that ran late, so that is why we are starting a little bit late. Attorney Matteo, if you could please identify yourself for the record.
Certainly. Scott Matteo, attorney, Department of Consumer Protection, Liquor Enforcement Matters.
Okay, and just so everyone is aware, all testimony given today is under oath. So all those who will be testifying, please raise your right hand.
Oh, let me just promote my first witness. My first and only witness.
Okay, thank you. Is that person present now?
Yeah, he was always in attendance. I just hadn't promoted
okay.
to panelist.
Okay, thank you. Again, all those who will be testifying, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the evidence you are about to give concerning the case now in question shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or upon penalty of perjury?
I do.
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you. Okay, just to explain briefly how we'll proceed, Attorney Matteo will go first with his witness. For the record, the department does not take an official position in the matter of remonstrances. So after he has presented his attorney, then we turn it over to the parties. First, the agent for the remonstrance, and then the permittee. So unless there are any questions, I'll turn it over to Attorney Matteo at this time. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Hearing Officer Steiber. I just want to, before we get to Agent Gagny, I just want to share my screen as a housekeeping. Let me see. As a housekeeping matter, I just want to have the notice of the hearing introduced into the record. Can everyone see this?
Yes.
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 I'd like to have this entered into the record as Commission's Exhibit 1.
Okay, we'll have the notice marked as Commission Exhibit 1.
Okay, stop the share. All right, and so I would like to call my first witness, Agent Gagny. Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Fine. Good afternoon.
Could you please state your name and apologies for the delay, as you have surmised by now. The first hearing ran long today. Could you please state your name, title, and business address for the record?
Sure. My name's Eric J. Gagny. I'm a liquor control agent with the State of Connecticut Department of Consumer Protection Liquor Control Division, and we're located at 450 Columbus Boulevard in Hartford, Connecticut.
Okay. And how long have you been with Liquor Control, Agent Gagny?
Going on 15 years now.
Okay. And is part of your job to review remonstrances on new applications for liquor permits?
Yes.
Okay. And are you familiar with the requirements of the laws concerning remonstrances?
Yes, I am.
And specifically the laws concerning the requirements for holding a cafe permit?
Yes, I am. Correct.
Okay. And did you review the remonstrance that was filed against Mykonos Taverna?
I did. Yes.
Okay. Did you verify that this was a valid remonstrance signed by 10 persons involved in withdrawn? Do you verify that this was a valid remonstrance signed by 10 persons in the town as required by law?
I confirmed it was a valid remonstrance required by law. Yes.
Okay. Was the remonstrance received in a timely manner?
It was. Yes.
Was this remonstrance on a new application, a renewal, or a removal?
It was on a new application.
Okay. Have there been any enforcement issues while during the pendency of the application?
During the application, my review and subsequent issuance of the provisional permit they're currently working under, as of today at 9 a.m., there's been no enforcement cases drawn against this business.
Thank you. Can you briefly explain the substance of the concerns that have been raised by the remonstrance here?
Sure. The remonstrance petition spoke about multiple ordinance violations, town ordinance violations, calls for police services, screaming and fighting in the streets, loud music coming from the business, parking, car accidents, a lot of conduct issues. And mind you, this all, from my understanding, occurred under the prior owner's reign of having a business there, prior owner.
Okay, that's what I was going to clarify, if those concerns were applicable to this particular premise or the previous premise. So at this point then, what I'd like to do is share my screen. And let's see. Sorry, I was just on Teams, so it's got to get my bearings here. Okay. And did you prepare a report based off of your review of the remonstrance and your verification that it was valid?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And I am sharing my screen with you at this point in time. Do you see this document?
Yes, that's the document I prepared.
Okay. Is that your signature on the first page there?
It's an electronic digital signature, yes,
Okay.
that I typed in.
And the second page just explains, or could you speak to kind of what the second page explains?
Sure, that just goes over timelines regarding what was received regarding the remonstrance and the timelines showing that is a valid remonstrance received in a timely manner. And the folks that I contacted on the remonstrance indicating that they were over 18 and reside in the city of Norwalk.
Okay. I'd like to have this document admitted as Commission's Exhibit 2.
Oh, we'll so mark that as Exhibit 2.
And then just moving on to the next document. And this is a 3-page document. Agent Gagny, could you just explain, even though it's fairly evident, what this document is?
Sure, this was the remonstrance petition received.
Okay.
Received in with names of the petitioners and the description on the second page of what their concerns were.
Okay. And the people that you contacted to verify that they were residents of the town, you got that information from this petition?
That's correct.
Okay. Then I don't, or excuse me, I'm not quite there yet. I'd like to have this document admitted into the record as Commission's Exhibit 3.
Okay, we'll mark that as Commission Exhibit 3.
Okay, then let me stop sharing and see if there's anything else. Last question, Agent Gagny. Aside from the remonstrance, are there any other issues preventing final approval?
I find no issues at all for issuing the final permit for this location.
Great. Thank you, Agent Gagny. I don't have any further questions for you at this point in time.
I might have missed it. When did the provisional, what's the date of the provisional permit?
Sure, I can get that. First issuance, it looks January 20th, 2022.
Thank you. Commissioner Boletto, do you have any questions for Agent Gagny?
I don't believe so. Not yet. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner McKinney, do you have any questions?
I do not.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Agent Gagny. Oh, I apologize. Will the agent for the remonstrance please identify themselves for the record?
Hi, that's me. My name is Joe Ulatowski. I live at 142 Main Street, Norwalk, Connecticut.
Okay, and
I'm representing the residential community and church in the surrounding area.
okay, thank you. And is Mr. Zupanitis present today?
Openitas, he's right here.
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you. I apologize. I'm
Okay.
horrible with names. And Ms., are you Marilyn Lodato?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure everyone has a chance to ask any questions if they have them of Agent Gagny. Mr. Latowski, do you have any questions for Agent Gagny, just strictly based on his testimony?
Yes, you find no reasoning in approving this permit, although I did bring up quite a few issues concerning the matters of not approving. I realize that this is a mixed residential and commercial area.
I'm sorry, sir. Sir, you're going to have a chance to testify later.
Okay.
This is strictly if you have a question of Mr. Agent Gagny based on his testimony.
Well, like I said, the one concern is that he finds no issues in approving this, which is contradictory to what we're submitting as residents and church community. Why is that?
Okay, that's a question. Good.
Your question is why I found,
Why do you not see any reasoning that this permit should be approved based on the information that we provided in this residential community?
that information applied to the previous permit holder, which has nothing to do with the conduct of the current permit holder.
Right, I realize that. I realize these are previous owners, and I realize that my reasoning is projecting, and that when it gets to the point of me allowing to speak further, I can indicate what these reasonings are.
Okay, I think I established that the commission, the department doesn't actually take a formal position. They believe Agent Gagny said, other than the filing of the remonstrance, they did not identify any outstanding or other issues to deny the permit. I just want to clarify that.
Right, I understand and realize that based on the current situation of the town of Norwalk, that this being a residential and commercial area, this might be a bigger picture in the future of preventing this, but I'm basically trying to prevent a very disruptive disturbances, unfortunately.
And sir, you're testifying.
I'm sorry, okay,
I
got
believe,
it. I understand.
I just want to make sure you don't have any questions for Agent Gagny. Otherwise, I'll turn it over to the other parties to ask the same question.
Yes, I have one more question, and I
Okay.
don't know if this could be answered. If this liquor permit is approved, and there becomes noise ordinance issues that evolve, and how many police calls and disturbance calls will it take to prevent this, to stop this from happening? And is there any sort of fines and regulations? Will it take one phone call, two phone calls, 50, 100 to have this permit revoked?
It doesn't work
Okay.
that way, sir, but I'm sorry.
Okay,
Nope, good.
Is that a question for me?
yes, it is.
Okay, sir. So if there are complaints that you have against this business that's going in there, noise complaints, you're more than welcome to call the police department on each incident, and also give us a call and report those incidents for investigation.
And how many of them does it take to pursue a revoking of this license?
That's something that can't be answered.
Okay.
Okay, do you have any other questions?
Not at this moment, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Zup, I apologize. Zupin,
Call me Harry.
thank you. Do you have any questions for Agent Gagny?
No, we do not.
No.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Agent Gagny.
Thank you, Agent Gagny. I think we can have him dismissed. I don't see any other reason why he would need to testify or participate today.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Agent Gagny.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Attorney Matteo, do you have any other witnesses?
I do not have any other witnesses at this point.
Okay, thank you. All right, then, Mr. Altawowski, I hope I'm announcing your name correctly.
It's Ulatowski. It's okay.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. You can call me Joe.
Okay, it's now your opportunity to testify, to present, any evidence you wish into this matter, and then we will turn it over to the permittee.
Okay. I mean, basically, it's basically an unfortunate situation for both the residents and the tavern owner. I'm sorry that it has come to this. I know that, I don't want to interrupt running a business, but, also the residential community needs some rights here, being that it's mixed 50%, commercial and 50% residential. And that seems to be the issue at hand here. It's the activities that could potentially happen. And I know potential is sort of vague because they haven't happened. But if they do, there's going to be issues concerning the Norwalk Police Department and the town of Norwalk. Basically, it's an apartment house with a bar in a mainly residential area. There are restaurants and clubs in the area down the street, but there's no residences in the immediate proximity. And that's why this has become an issue. I've been living here for 18 years, and it has been unbearable to the amount of noise and activity with the previous owners. And again, I know it's previous owners. So basically, I'm just giving the heads up that if this activity and behavior is going to happen again, it's just going to become an issue, and it could potentially become an issue with the town of Norwalk to change the commercial and residential zoning. And that seems to be what the issue is here. 8 o'clock at night, we're winding down, and 8 o'clock at night, this tavern is going to be winding up. And this is the reasoning. I submitted the Norwalk documents, the noise ordinance issues, regulations, which says 8 p.m. is the cutoff time. And that's, again, going to be the issue here. And how many calls to the police department will it take to prevent this? We've had food trucks recently who parked in front of our condos, loud noise, attracting people. The police were called, they were asked to leave, they haven't returned, which is great. I'm sorry, Harry, I'm really sorry that this has to come to this. It's unfortunate, because it's just a residential area. I mean, I really want your business to succeed, but under the circumstances, I can really only see the club operating until 8 p.m., which is not part of this hearing, I understand. The part of this hearing is for the liquor permit based on the facts. So I'm just giving the information, the concerns of the neighborhood, the potential of what can happen if people in your establishment, the patrons, which I don't think you'll be able to have control over, will be leaving your facility acting in disruptive, disorderly manners. So that's basically it. I mean, I said it over and over again. I don't know what the resolution is. I really think there needs to be some sort of, resolution, being that we're both residential and commercial. So that's pretty much sums it up. I hope that was understandable. And again, I apologize for having it to come this far, but we really just want a peaceful neighborhood.
Sir, they've had a provisional permit since January 20th, I believe. Have there been any complaints or incidences in the last couple months?
No, the club's not open yet, so it's not open. It's closed still. I mean, I see it. I look directly out and I can see it. It's still under, being worked on. And yeah, no.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner McKinney, do you have any questions?
I'll get that button right. No, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Boletto, do you have any questions?
Yeah, so sir, we try to give everybody a fair explanation. So I would like to clarify a few things. You said, and I'm not sure you meant to say it, was that there is no residential areas next to the bar. Is that correct?
There is it's an apartment house that is on top of the bar. That it's actually in a residential house. And there's a house next door directly that is an apartment house. And I am directly across the street. And there's two condos across the street directly. And there's a condo to the right of me and a church. And we're all concerned about the behavior.
When you say condo, you mean complexes, not a condo.
There's two building complexes. One is 11 units, one is 4 units. The building next door has about 25, maybe 30 units. And then there's the church.
Okay, and when you say there's an apartment, remember, we have not seen the site. So when you say
I sent
there's
pictures in the document. That's
right, we will see it afterwards.
Okay,
when you
sure.
provide your
Mhm.
information.
Yes.
Just so to clarify this, what are we talking about apartments above the building? Are we
There's
talking
apartment houses in the building. It's an apartment house. And they cut out the first floor as an as a
Right.
bar.
Slow down. When you say apartment house, we talking 3 units? We talking 20 units?
I don't know how many units, but I could see that it's a 3-floor. So it could be 3 apartments, 2 apartments, 5 apartments.
Okay, so it's
I don't know
something
how
like
it's cut out.
that. No, I was trying to get a description of what the building is. Okay. And so are you saying that this location is unsuitable for any bar or any location? Are you saying it's an unsuitable location? Is that what you're trying to assert here? Or the current,
Yes.
the owners?
Yes, I believe so. I mean, just based on the area surrounding is so heavily residential that yes, it's just not the ideal location. I actually bought these condos in 2003, and the establishment across the street used to be a very small little, club, not a bar, just like people used to go there and play cards and stuff. And then the contractor built this bar, and then that's where it spiraled into a lot of bad behavior with previous owners. I witnessed an owner where he must have been running something illegal. At the police department came with a huge trailer, and the police department came and gutted out the place, and that was done. And then owners ran big parties in there, hosting parties after hours to 1, 2 in the morning, people coming out, cars with their windows down and music blasting, multiple calls into the police department in the night. These are the kind of activities that went on for the last 18 years prior to COVID. COVID, the facility was shut down, and it's been amazingly quiet. And that's what we're trying to preserve as with residents of this community and the rights, some rights to the residents of this community. Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, you talked about some exhibits. Did you actually, do you have exhibits that you submitted prior to the hearing that you want entered into the record? No?
I don't, unfortunately.
I thought you said you sent pictures in. Wait a minute, you just
I
said
sent
that-
pictures. I sent pictures, yes.
I
And I
can-
sent a screen grab to the Norwalk ordinance regulations, stopping at 8 p.m.
Yeah, I can clarify a few things. The photographs were attached to the remonstrance petition. I may have scanned through it quickly, or maybe not. Maybe I didn't get to that last page.
Yeah.
I can bring those photographs up as long as Mr. Ulatowski is testifying. If the commissioners and here
Yes, please.
want to take a look. And yes, Mr. Ulatowski did submit a copy of the noise ordinance. So if he wants to introduce that into the record, I can bring that up too.
Yes, please.
All right, let me get the noise ordinance up first. Or excuse me, let me get the petition up. Just bear with me. Can everyone see?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Oh, I can't move it.
Okay, Mr. Joe, can you walk us through what we're looking at?
Yes, the picture on the top right is actually the bar, the cafe, the tavern that Harry is opening. You could see that it's an apartment house. You can see that there's possibly multiple apartments in there. I don't know how many, but you can see it. And then you can see directly next door on the left-hand side is a full-fledged residential apartment house. The photo in the second row on the left is our condos. 140 and 142 Main Street, directly across the street. Further down is the church, which is on the other side. There's another condo complex that's probably, I don't know if it's in the pictures, but there's another condo complex directly to the right of us. And then there's the church directly to the right of that. Oh, those, yes. Yes, this middle row, that top right picture is the condos directly next to the 142. And then there's a 146 is the church. And then there's a parking lot that's right next door to the right of the facility that is a no parking lot that is basically one of the main parking areas that a lot of the previous activity took place, where they would park there. I don't know what the owners of this, particular business, how they feel about this, but it basically says only customer parking only. But it is basically filled with previous owners who ran the facility, had cars parked in this lot.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Let me just move over to the noise ordinance. This is a document that Mr. Latowski submitted in advance of the hearing to me, indicating that he wanted to introduce this into the record as an exhibit.
Okay, we can mark this as remonstrance exhibit 1.
I mean,
Okay, sir.
basically, can I speak?
Yes.
Basically, I submitted that document because I feel terrible about the situation. I have a heart, and I know running a business, I don't want to interrupt it, but I just want, people to realize that, we're residents too, and we have rights. So the reasoning with that document is that it has an 8 p.m. cutoff, and that's, I try to look for a compromise. I mean, basically, I don't want to completely have this tavern not open, but I think the compromise under the circumstances would be that it closes at 8 p.m. according to the Norwalk ordinance regulations. And that's what I'm proposing.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We'll turn it over. Harry, would you,
Okay, so Harry and I are here together, as you can see in the same screen. And my name is Marilyn Lodato, and I'm the liquor consultant that filed the application on his behalf. And I'll speak a little bit, and then, he's right here so that he can answer any questions or speak as well. So the first thing I'd like to say is that Mykonos Taverna is going to be a full-service restaurant. So unlike the predecessor, it is not a club in any way, shape, or fashion. He did renovations, including a full-service kitchen. So the prior owner didn't have a kitchen at all, and therefore had a cafe permit, which required probably light fare food and operated, as I understand, more like a nightclub. But Harry's business is a full-service restaurant. So that, I just wanted to make that differentiation. He intends to be open from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. So not the full time that's allowed under the cafe permit, because again, he's a restaurant. The reason he applied for a cafe permit was because when I visited Norwalk zoning, We did a full tenant fit up, and also Nora comes out to make sure that there is adequate parking for the business. And when you get a cafe permit and that previous permit was a cafe, you don't have to go to Norwalk for a change of use. So even though he's operating more as a restaurant, we didn't want to have to go through the timing of getting a change of use with the city of Norwalk. We have an exhibit that is just the first page of the application, which shows the sign-offs of zoning, fire, and town clerk, which indicates that this location is in a zone that would allow this type of use. So that's one exhibit. And
Attorney Matteo, do you have that?
I'm getting it up.
Thank
right
you.
now. Can everyone see the application?
And you are entering this as an exhibit?
yes,
Okay, we'll mark that remonstrant, rather
Applicant?
applicant, thank you. Exhibit 1. So you have been approved by zoning and all other town or city requirements, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
the next picture here is the menu, and that would indicate that this is a restaurant with a full service menu as opposed to a nightclub cafe, which would have light fare.
and I'm sorry, did you apply for any kind of entertainment?
No,
cases
that's
or-
another thing I wanted to, a very good question to point out, is there will be no live entertainment in the application. If you went back to the first page, you'd see, and there's no live entertainment.
Okay,
And
Okay.
the last exhibit that was on there was the permit of his predecessor. And it shows that he was supposed to have no live entertainment as well. So if there were all kinds of noise and entertainment going on, they should have complained at that point, because then it would have, they sent an agent out to show that, you know, there was no live entertainment on his permit as well.
okay, and you're entering this as an exhibit?
Yes.
It's part of applicants one.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay, because yeah, it all goes together.
Thank you.
I'd just like to mention too, that Harry reached out to Mr. Ulatowski to have him come to the place so he could show him what it's going to be like, and he didn't hear back from him.
Okay,
Oh, sorry. I don't have a problem looking at the place, Harry. It looks like a really nice cafe potential with a good menu, but I mean, you know my concerns. And I raised my hand earlier because the entertainment issue, and that was a big issue because at 8 p.m. we hear everything. And that the previous owners left the door open to the facility, and it was loud music blasting, it was flashing lights, it was, at one point there was a slew of belly dancers, which is pretty cool, but you know, another incident, and I won't bore you with all my past details, but there was actually a gun incident, and the entire establishment left the club into our condo complex. But it's the noise issue that is the biggest concern here, and the leaving the door open. And I understand, and I'm rambling on again, but 11 p.m. sounds a bit more reasonable, but during the later hours of the evening, if there's going to be patrons coming in and out that are going to be creating noise, which you have no control over, there is potential of police activity, unfortunately. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Lodato, you were speaking?
Yeah, so,
Can
yeah,
I just,
go ahead.
can
Yeah.
I just say, we're going to be a family restaurant. There will be no live entertainment. There will be
Okay.
no. So I don't think he should have any concerns like that.
Well, I
Sounds
would
good.
recommend, sir, that you take them up on the offer and go visit the establishment.
Yes, we're here all the.
Sure.
Commissioner Boletto?
I just have a couple, I guess, questions because I'm confused. Is there a difference in parking requirements between a cafe license and a restaurant license in the town of Norwalk?
No, they do it, they came out and do a whole scale to see what the parking is based on the size of the place.
Okay, so it has nothing, no effect between cafe and,
Restaurant, no. But if you applied for a restaurant permit and the previous permit was a cafe, you would have to do a change of use with the zoning board.
right, and you skirted that a little bit by doing it this way, a cafe, and that raised the, I mean, I could see how that raised the ear of the neighbors to file this. I mean, if you had applied for a restaurant permit and did it appropriately, and when, at least went that route, I think the neighbors probably would feel a little bit differently. I mean, I can understand their concern because, you know, you applied for, you're opening as a cafe, you're not opening as a restaurant, or your permit is not as a restaurant. You haven't opened, why have you not opened during the provisional permit?
Well, because of the Omicron variant that came up, we decided to wait a few more weeks.
Well, we're 2 months out of that now, sir. You still
Yeah.
any,
We're scheduled to open in 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
I mean, if you had opened and the neighbors had seen that there was a provisional permit, I mean, you know, during the provisional period, they obviously would feel a little more comfortable. It'd be a different relationship. I mean, you're not starting off on a good relationship with the neighbors. You know, and I can see that and see their concern. I mean, I certainly understand where they're coming from. I'm not saying I'm agreeing with it, but I understand where they're coming from. And I think a lot of that comes back on, you know, what you've applied for and what you've done so far.
I agree. It's a mystery right now. And it has
No,
support.
but it's their
Oh,
turn.
sorry, go ahead.
Thank you.
Well,
yeah.
I'm sure if he comes over and sees the setting of the place, he will see that there's no room for music and dancing and things that he's concerned about.
Well, it's not also, can I speak?
Not right now.
Well, no, Commissioner Boletto's asking questions.
Okay, sorry.
And it's back to Commissioner McKinney. I'm done, and then you get a turn when
Okay,
Commissioner McKinney.
thank you. Sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner McKinney, do you have any questions?
I just want to clarify. So the work you've done and the cafe permit, you have met all of the requirements under the City of Norwalk zoning and gotten all of your local permits. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Lodato, was there anything further you wanted to say on the record?
I think we covered it all.
Okay, Mr. Joe, do you have any questions for Ms. Lodato?
No, but I did have wanted to point out one thing about the parking, that it's primarily a street parking. There's not a lot of parking here. And that's where all the cars will be mostly. And which if they can find room, great. That could become an issue. And I understand that it's a restaurant situation. And that's, you know, when you pointed out that there's not going to be any live entertainment and music. So I will hold you to that. And if that's the case and it's a nice restaurant, which it does look, and the menu looks good and I'm hungry right now. It's quiet and the patrons are not disrupting the neighborhood, then it's a possibility. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Lodato, we'll give you the final word.
Yes, I would just like to say that Harry would like to make this a family neighborhood restaurant that perhaps all the people in the neighborhood would enjoy eating. It's going to be very good Greek food.
It does sound like it, but when it goes to 11, 12, 1 in the morning, then that's the issue.
Well, I think they've testified the anticipated hours are till 11.
Right, but then so they're closed at 11, like doors shut, lights out at 11, or do people linger?
Excuse
Did you
me?
want Harry to
What's that?
Like, is 11 o'clock, lights out, doors closed?
Well,
Is that what you're saying?
we're going to be charging a substantial amount per person. I don't think that, I can say to them, well, it's time for you to go now. So I don't.
Well, then that
understand the
exceeds the
question.
11 PM time then.
Well, I mean, they are permitted if they have seated patrons, to go beyond 11.
Okay, so if they come out at 12 PM and they're making noise in the street, then I don't know. We're back to the same situation again.
That might be with the city of Norwalk complaint though, as opposed to liquor control.
Right, I understand that this hearing is about the
Excuse me,
permits.
Joe, if you had it your way, you want every place on the street shut down?
No, the other, as I mentioned earlier, the
I don't
other,
understand. We made a substantial investment in here to do something right.
I know, I understand, I totally get it, but
It
it just so happens that this particular facility is located in a heavy residential area and church, and the other establishments on this road are not surrounded by residents and condos and church activity. They're in an area of business. So I know this, is
None of these
above
places,
and beyond the hearing. It's more about the zoning issues for this particular apartment house as a bar.
this place
Sorry.
was never a restaurant in the past. It was never a restaurant. It was always a club. I know the place very well. That's not what we're gonna be.
Right, it still doesn't change the fact of the hours of the noise ordinance issues that could happen afterwards when people are coming out of your facility. It's the same story over and over.
Joe, can I just interrupt you? I think we're getting
Yes,
too far afield from what our
Right.
our issues are here today and before us. I personally would tell you now that I've made up my mind to deny the remonstrance. I don't know about the other two commissioners. That's up to them. But I think you've gotten on the record with the owner that you and your neighbors are very concerned about noise, and I think he hears you. And I think if those things happen and local ordinances are being broken, then you have every right to call the Norwalk Police Department. If there are violations of his permit, you have every right to bring those as well. But I think beyond that, we're getting way past what we have the authority to do here.
right. I understand completely. I'm just projecting a little, and I know it's above and beyond this hearing, but I'm just trying to prevent any activity that could potentially happen. And if it becomes, a problem and the police department is called at many, many times, and it has to go to the town for a zoning issue, and then it becomes a legal obligation, I don't know if the town of Norwalk will suspend your services until a legal situation is resolved based on zoning. So yes, I know I'm projecting,
Yeah,
but
The answer to that is no.
I'm
they
just
can't.
giving the vision of the potential of the
we
rights
understand.
and residences of this community
Got
that we don't seem to be having if 100% is given to a commercial activity.
Okay, sir,
Thank you. Thank you.
It's getting repetitive. I mean,
Yes, I know I'm being repetitive.
Yes, okay, but we understand your
Fair enough.
concerns, but
Yes.
I'm going to give Ms. Lodato the opportunity for the last word.
Okay, well, as I said, this is going to be a nice restaurant and what Mr. Harry here is hoping is that everyone in the condo complexes will enjoy the food and come and be patrons.
Hey, can
Okay,
I say
thank
one
you.
last thing? I think Joe has said in his mind that we are going to be a live entertainment venue. We are not that. We are a restaurant.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right,
Thank
well,
you.
thank you all for coming today and providing your testimony. For the record, it is 2:08 p.m. The commission will be rendering a written decision in the near future. This hearing is now closed, and we thank you again for
Can we stay on in,
uh,
please, the commissioners?
it's Zoom call, so I'm not sure that we can do that.
Scott?
I'm not quite sure. Like I said, Zoom, I'm not really up to speed on. I have to stop the recording though.
Thank you.
So I will stop that and then.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna
Bye.
get kicked out. You guys should probably just hop back over to Teams.
Okay,
and
perfect.
set up a
Thank you.
call in
Thank
Teams.
you.
All right, the recording is stopping now.
All right, thank you, everyone. Thank you.
And if you
Good
want to
luck,
just see the
Harry.
Teams invite.